Richmond, Virginia, a city with a complicated history, made a bold move in 2013. City leaders struck a deal to bring the Washington Redskins, now the Commanders, to town for summer training camp. The pitch? Hosting an NFL team would boost tourism and pump money into the local economy. Officials celebrated, convinced this was a win for Richmond's future. Richmond agreed to build a state-of-the-art training facility, borrowing $10 million to do it. In exchange, the team promised to hold camp there for 8 years, drawing fans and revenue. So, the team arrived, the facility was built, and the fans, well, they didn't quite show up as expected. The massive economic windfall that was promised never materialized. Instead of the city making money, it started losing it. A lot of it. The Economic Development Authority, which took out that $10 million loan, found itself in a deep financial hole. By the end of the deal, the city had paid millions more than it ever brought in from the training camp. It was a classic case of over-promising and under-delivering, leaving taxpayers to foot the bill for a party that very few people attended. The numbers are just brutal. Instead of the projected $8.5 million in annual economic impact, the reality was closer to just over $1 million. And remember that $10 million loan? The city struggled to make the payments. The debt became a massive weight on Richmond's finances, money that could have gone to schools, roads, or other essential services. It was a costly lesson in sports economics, where the glamour of a professional team often hides the harsh financial realities. The city basically paid a premium price for a short-term rental, and when the team left, all Richmond had was an expensive, empty field and a pile of debt. It wasn't just the city's budget that took a hit. Local businesses, the very ones that were supposed to benefit, were left disappointed. Restaurant and hotel owners in the area reported that they saw almost no increase in business during the training camp. The fans who did come often just drove in for the day, watched the practice, and then drove right back out of town without spending much money. Some vendors who set up shop near the facility expecting huge crowds ended up losing money. The promised economic boom was a complete bust, a mirage in the hot Virginia summer. The whole situation highlights a fundamental problem with these kinds of deals. The benefits are often exaggerated, while the costs are downplayed. The city was so starstruck by the idea of hosting an NFL team that it failed to do its due diligence. They signed a deal that was heavily tilted in the team's favor, leaving Richmond holding the bag. It was a fumble of epic proportions, a costly mistake that left a lasting scar on the city's finances and its trust in grand, top-down economic development projects. The training camp became a symbol of poor planning and misplaced priorities. The team's arrival in Richmond was supposed to spark community engagement and unite the city. Excitement buzzed as residents anticipated a partnership that would bring new energy and opportunities. The team promised events, youth clinics, and a relationship that would benefit local families, especially children eager to meet their heroes and learn the game. But in reality, the team's presence was minimal outside the fenced training facility. Community events and youth clinics were rare, and players mostly kept to themselves. The few events that did happen often saw sparse attendance, leaving many feeling left out. The team acted more like a temporary guest than a true community partner, with impersonal signage and little outreach. The promised connection never materialized, leaving many residents frustrated and disconnected. Richmond built them a multi-million-dollar facility, but got little in return for their investment. The result? Growing resentment and a sense that the deal was one-sided, with the community left holding empty promises. Now let's compare this Redskins fumble to another big economic proposal for Richmond, a casino. Yes, a casino. Now before you start clutching your pearls, let's look at the numbers. While the training camp was a guaranteed money loser for the city, a casino presents a very different financial picture. A casino is designed from the ground up to do one thing: generate revenue. And a significant chunk of that revenue would go directly into the city's coffers through taxes. We're not talking about vague estimates of tourists buying hot dogs. We're talking about a direct, predictable, and substantial stream of income every single year. The proposal for the Richmond Casino project projects the creation of thousands of permanent jobs. These aren't temporary seasonal positions for a few weeks in the summer. These are year-round jobs with benefits for local residents, from construction workers who build the facility to dealers, hotel staff, and restaurant workers who run it. A casino is a massive economic engine that operates 24/7. It also acts as a major tourist destination, drawing people from across the region who will stay in hotels, eat in restaurants, and spend money both inside and outside the casino walls, providing a much broader economic impact. Unlike the Redskins deal, where the team held all the cards, a casino deal would give the city significant leverage. Richmond Casino negotiated a community benefits agreement that ensures a portion of the profits is invested directly back into local neighborhoods. This meant funding for schools, infrastructure improvements, and programs for at-risk youth, the very things the training camp failed to deliver. The casino had its local hiring quotas and partnerships with community organizations. It's a deal that puts Richmond's interests first, not the interests of an out-of-town sports team. In the end, the lesson from the Redskins debacle is clear. Cities need to be smart about their investments. They can't let themselves be dazzled by the glamour of a big name. They need to look at the cold, hard numbers and ask what's in it for their residents. The training camp was a high-cost, low-reward gamble that failed spectacularly. The casino, on the other hand, represented a calculated business decision with a clear path to revenue, jobs, and tangible community benefits. It might not have the romantic appeal of an NFL team, but it made a hell of a lot more sense for Richmond's bottom line.